Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. It's here. Thank you very much for your attendance today. Welcome back to Herbie, and welcome to AJ, and obviously welcome to Shaun as well. Just in terms of format for today, I think we've let you all know, for written media this is the only crack at Shaun, so we would encourage you to ask your questions. We'll have a few questions embargoed for Sunday papers at the back end, which we'll mark out clearly. Herbie and AJ will be available for broadcast and also an all-in for written press afterwards. But again, we would encourage you to ask as many as you can. So I think that's it for the admin, so I'm going to throw over to Alan from Sky Sports News to kick us on.
Sure, thanks Andy. Shaun, there are many good news stories in the squad, but before we get to those, can we just cover off the disappointment for one player in particular in Jake Connor, the man of steel this year? How difficult was that decision for you?
Oh, yeah, not really difficult. He's a very, very good player, Jake, no doubt about that. And I spoke to him in the week, and he's going to be available for the World Cup next year. I never, when I'm picking a squad, the thing you will never hear from me is he's one of the man of steel, he needs to be in. I don't even know who picks the man of steel. I don't know what goes into it, the dream team. I don't even know who's in the dream team. So that never comes into my reckoning. You know, them things what are important to other people. I just watch the players play, and I think you can do a fantastic job against Australia.
So he took that decision well.
Yeah, it was more about his form than anything else, and yeah, he took it well. We had a good chat. He's a really good lad, and I've lots of time for him. But there's other players other than Jake Connor not good in this 24, and I don't see the obsession about why every single person, the man of steel. It just doesn't mean anything to me.
Joe Burgess is back after a 10-year absence. You know him well. He was obviously 2 tries on Saturday, but there's more to the game than just those 2 tries Saturday. He must be delighted. How was he?
Yeah. Well, I spoke to him on Sunday morning, so it weren't in that good a form, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so he was very pleased. I had a chat to him a few weeks ago about his form. He's going well for OKR, and I know what he can do. He's done a great job for me at Wigan as well, so I know what he's capable of. Budgie, and he's a great kid, and he's going to be a fantastic asset to this 24.
And the same with his 2 teammates as well, Mikey Lewis and Jez Littman.
Yeah.
Was that an easy call for you, given their form?
Yeah, well, Jez has been the best 9 in the comp this year. He's fixed his game. What Will has done there at OKR with that team, and with Jez in particular, he's just changed him round. He's done a great job, and yeah, he's going to be. Jez is a great player. I picked Mikey in the past. He's always been in my squads, and he's another can play multiple positions as well. So he's a good kid, Mikey.
You said after the game on Saturday, I think to the BBC, Shaun, that the events of the grand final had changed your mind a little bit with the squad, and you had to go home and have another think. Can you give us an insight into some of those late changes? Who was late coming into your thinking and things like that? Yeah,
I knew you'd pick up on that, Aaron. Yeah, there was a few. You know, there was Brad and Jez and Mikey. Mikey gripped the game, and he needs to do a bit more of that, Mikey, and he knows that. Budgie was really impressive. Really impressive. I thought Elliot Manchella was good, defended really well, but he's not made the squad, which is a credit to all the coaching Super League. You know, there's so many players what could have gone in this 24. But there was a few things what went through my mind, private things, which, but now I went through every player yesterday who was in the squad, and I went through players what weren't in the squad. Yesterday was a really tough day for me. But I must add the response from all the players what weren't in the squad was unbelievably good. And like the spirit and how they took the bad news from me, devastating news, but they wanted the team crack on and they're going to come in the hotel and carry on visiting us because they're part of the squad. They just want us to do well in the Ashes, and all credit to them players.
Brad O'Neill's in the last half hour just been given a too much ban by the match review panel. Is that part you thinking why Brad wasn't involved, or is it nothing to do with that?
No, nothing to do with that. No.
Just lastly for me, I think one notable omission is perhaps Luke Thompson. Was Luke close? What was you thinking?
Yeah, he was close. He was. His form early in the year was fantastic. I'm a big Luke Thompson fan, but he got injured, quite a bad injury, come back, and he's yet to get to them levels he had before. And but he weren't far off. He's a good player, Luke Thompson, great player. I've lots of time for him, but that was a tough one in particular.
Did you consider any other club players after the season they had?
Yeah, like I said, Elliot went well, and Batch, you know, they're all in the squad. They've all been to all the player meetings, but at the end of the day, I can pick 24, and I have to balance up how many players can play different positions. And there's lots of things, not just the players' form, the weather, who kicks off what foot, and there's lots of technicalities which I'm not going to bore you with now. But it's not just straightforward picking players. There's lots of detail goes behind it.
Mick Maletsky and Callum Watkins, they're back in for the third time since the World Cup. What have they done this year that they didn't?
Well, Mickey's he's had injuries his last few years, but this year I think he's been fantastic. He's exploded onto the ball. He's fast twitch. He's a good athlete, great lad off the field, and Cal, I picked him in the World Cup. He's just a super talent. He can play in different positions, and again, it's not just about what players do on the field. We've got 4 weeks together, and you need to be a certain sort of individual because you're under pressure as soon as these players wake up in the morning. There's demands on them until they go to bed after that. So them 4 weeks are very, very intense, and you need to pick a certain sort of player, and obviously he's done it before, and that's why he's in.
There's some young players who have gone well this year, like Lewis Martin, Harry Robertson. Is this series a bit too soon?
Yeah, they're great talent. You bang on. They're very, very good, talented players, and they'll definitely be the future of England. There's no doubt about that. But they're not ready for this physical battle what we've got coming up in the next few weeks.
Just one final one on Jake Connor. You mentioned the World Cup. What does he have to do to get into that World Cup?
Play really well consistently in every game he plays, and you don't see it the way I see it. I look at it a very different way than what obviously everybody else does, but he knows he's a really, really good player, great talent. But so is George Williams and Harry Smith and Mikey Lewis. They're a very good talent as well. But Jake's up there, and next year for the World Cup, he'll be challenged with all the halves.
Gary, just put his hand up.
Just a couple for me, Shaun. Has Mikey's performance in the grand final almost like changed your thinking of how you're going to use him in the series?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'll accept that one. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I thought he gripped it. I like an half what runs, and he runs, and yeah, lots of things in his game. But that's we've got 2 weeks now to have a look at the players and come up with a team what we hope can beat Australia in the first test.
I think I asked you this about John Bateman's included. Is that credit in the bank and what he's done in the past before for England, what he can still do?
Yeah, he's a competitor, John, and he can suffer, and that's what you need in Test matches. You need players what can get in a bad place and still come up with the goods and still deliver what the team needs, and that's a different challenge. There's lots of players in Super League, but that level, this is not a Test match. Is not a grand final. It's another step up from a grand final, a few steps, and there's not many players can get to that level. But John Canny's done it in the past, and fierce competitor. He's fit and healthy, and he wants to play for England, so he has got credits in the bank.
Ross?
Shaun, with the 24 lads that you picked today, does that give you the belief you can go into this series and obviously turn the Aussies over and hopefully get a series victory?
That's the hope. Yeah, that's the hope, and I'm sure Kevin will say the same thing. He wants to win the Ashes. I want to win the Ashes, and I've every respect for the NRL, and that comp over there is fantastic competition. I watch every game every week. I absolutely love it, and we've got a challenge. We have to be very, very good to win any of these test matches. But so do the Aussies. They need to be good. I'm very, very confident with a 24-man squad. The 17 what we turn out against Wembley will be prepared.
Good mixes, isn't there? I know you've had it the last few years, winning the past 2 test series against Tonga and Samoa, but how would you sum up that blend of NRL talent like Herbies, AJs, and then Mikey Lewis and all the boys based in Super League?
Yeah, I mean, I knew the 24 a few days ago, and you look through it, and it's just a lot of talent in that 24. And no matter who you look at, they can always add something to a game. And I'm very, very happy and content that this 24 can really, really fight for England and hopefully get us a series win.
You've obviously left out Junior Ensemble, who's been one of arguably the best young forwards in the game the last few years. How difficult was that, and does it show how much strength and depth England have got right now?
Yeah, it weren't difficult. He's a good athlete. He's a really, really good kid. And but there's areas in his game what he needs to get better at. And when I said before, I look at it very different to a lot of people. I'm not going to go into detail and dig Junior out. There's things he needs to get better at. And there's people in the squad what needs to improve on certain things. And same as me as the head coach, it's all about continuous improvement. But Junior's he's definitely one of them.
Jack?
Shaun, how much are you personally looking forward to this? Because you've had to be pretty patient, haven't you, since you were appointed, COVID, then we stopped. Lots of changes in between. How much are you looking forward to it yourself? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, I've not slept for about a month, thinking, literally not slept. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be, if we can do something in these Ashes and get a result, it will be the best thing I've ever done in my career. And I've done a lot. But it would be a dream. When I took the job, Ralph Rimmer's the first thing was the Ashes, and that was the first thing they had cancelled. So that was the one that caught my eye. I want to play against. I want to coach against the Aussies, and because it's the ultimate test for any coach. So and now it's here, so I'm super excited. And you can tell everybody else is. You look at the crowds at Everton and Edinburgh, and now we're up 50,000 to 60,000 at Wembley, and I just want the atmosphere to be super English and get behind the lads.
And then Steve.
Shaun, do you in the back of your mind, I'm not expecting you to name it obviously, but do you feel like you know what your strongest 17 is this time?
Yeah. And you're right, I'm not going to name it, but I've got a good idea. Yeah.
And just on AJ, just take us into those discussions that happened earlier this year and how he approached you about pledging his commitment to it.
Yeah, well, he's manager for me many times about his interest in AJ for me. We had a conversation, and very similar to when I spoke to Victor Radley. I was convinced he wants to play for England, and that phone call means a lot to me. I'm a bit weird. I'm a bit funny about things, as you know. But and I need to be convinced, and I was convinced with AJ. I watch him play, and he's a talent. He's a talent. He's going to be an asset to England for many years to come.
AJ, just on yourself, has it been in the back of your mind for quite a while representing England?
No, it definitely has. Obviously, my mum's from London, and all my mum's family's over there, so it's definitely been in my mind. And I come from an Australian dad and an English mum, and to be able to represent my whole mother's side, and I've got family over here that can't wait to head to the footy games. And I've been coming here since a kid. Not so much up north, more down Plymouth ways, but it's been something I've been wanting to do for years, and didn't actually know if I was eligible. So I'm really grateful that I got the opportunity, and I obviously gave Wayne a call and just to express, I know it's gonna be hard to make this squad, but I just want to put my best foot forward. I'm really excited and committed, to England. And if there's anything that you see in my game, I can work on what you want to see. But just super excited to be over here now. Yeah, it's been fun so far.
Your mum's side of the family must be pretty proud.
Yeah, no, they're pretty happy. obviously, like I said, she's the only one from her family that's moved over. So, you know, we've always gone back to see them at Christmases and things like that. So, yeah, I've already been seeing my cousin and things like that. So, they're super proud.
Shaun, what sort of role do you see AJ playing for you?
Well, he can play. The reason why he was in is talent, like I said. He can play multiple positions, and I envisage this Test series is going to be brutal on the players, and we're going to have injuries and players not playing the normal position, and he can play multiple positions, as can Callum Watkins and other players in the squad, John Bateman and people like that. So that's the blend of the squad what I've gone for. So he's a fullback, can play anywhere, play in the halves. He's a super talent. Is that enough? I can't give him any more praise.
How's George Williams looking?
Oh, he was chuffed. He knew all along, George, that he was going to be in because he just plays well in an England shirt. I know he's had a tough year with his club, but when he's with players of the calibre of Herbie and AJ, he just got to another level. So he was so happy.
So I think that's three players that played in the World Cup final back in. But what's that in boxing and in anyway? Experience that they played against Australia.
No, I won't do more than three players. I don't think about things like that. I do, but I do think I can imagine the game kicking off on Saturday against Australia at Wembley, and I can imagine players doing the job what I expect them to do. That's the only thing I'm concerned about.
It's Megan, then Will, then Ian. So Megan.
A couple of weeks ago you said George and Danny Walker were training together for a week. Obviously, how's that been going for George? And then at what point did you inform Danny that they
Yeah, they're a bit lonely, training on their own, getting flogged, and then as teams went out to the competition, they joined them. So last week at Sale we had 13 players training, 12 or 13 players. So once the players started coming back in, and then the NRL players flew in, it was more of a proper training session. But they're great. They was fantastic. Both trained together, and they were fit and healthy. It was good for George to get with the England lads. I spoke to Danny today. It's the worst phone call you can imagine. It was very tough for me because I have a lot of time for Danny Walker. But I'll tell you now, his response was, "I'm going to play it to the lads later, sometime in the next few days." Was so good. So I have a lot of respect for Danny. But after yesterday, it went up even higher.
You talked a little bit about the responses that some of them had to not being in the squad but still wanting to be part of this experience and be part of this journey with England. How hopeful and proud does that make you of those players that won't be involved on the pitch?
Yeah, it makes me very proud. It's a fair point you make. It makes me very, very proud. And that's not down to me. We've had a lot of meetings, lots of chats with the players and a lot of off-feet meetings. And that's down to our staff. It's my staff with Andy, Sam and Lee Breers and all the medical staff and the SSC staff, just making it a real good. One comment what's always been made to me since the Samoa and Tongan Test and the World Cup is that what we've created is like a club. It's not like there's no separation of club like I've heard in the past. I've heard some horror stories in the past about different things within the camp. We don't have that. It's just super joined up. I'm not saying it just for effect. You can ask any of the players. It's just like a club team, and that's not down to me. That's down to really talented staff and the want of the players to make sure that we're English, we're different to everybody else. Thank you. Thanks, Megan.
Hi Shaun, you said Jez Litton was the best 9 in the comp, in your opinion, this year. How close is he to being in your starting 30?
Oh, straight in. Yeah, it's close. He's very close, and so is Daz. So he's. He's not 13 anymore. He's 17, and the people off the bench are just as important as starting 13. But he's very close. He's a good player. A lot of time for Jez.
Okay. Liam Marshall was in the dream team. How close was he to not being?
Yeah, I had a call with Marshall. He's a great winger. biggest fan, but it's a tough job what we have as coaches to pick between all the talented wingers we've got, and we have to make a call, and we have to imagine who's going to get us a win at Wembley, and sadly Marshall wouldn't in that, so he was in the dream team, was he? Yeah, he's a good player, Marshall.
One last one. You picked AJ. Were there any others NRL players putting their hands up to come down there?
Yeah, there were a few who rang me, and I'm not going to go into details who they were, but they were talented players. But what AJ did, I looked at how he played and the skill he has and the speed he has and the desire he wanted to play. What he showed me he wanted to play for England far outweighed it, so it wasn't an hard choice at the end.
Right, I'm going to go to Ian, then I've got a couple on the back row, and then if everyone's happy for Herbie to remain quiet till the afters, we'll do the embargo bit for sure. Okay, so Ian first.
Shaun, you've got 2 NRL players flanking you. How important is their knowledge, their understanding of the NRL and the Australian players going into this series for you personally?
Yes, I won't say it's mega important, but they'll both be speaking up. They will be both giving us their opinion, and they've got first hand what the mentality of the NRL players are. So I will be leaning on them, but I expect international players to watch the NRL, and I don't think there'll be any surprises of what they can dish up. All the UK-based Super League players will know exactly what they can do as NRL players.
People will obviously ask us. Lewis Martin, for instance, finished as the Super League top try scorer this season. Junior and Sember was expected to be in the squad. They're not there. How much of this squad is about getting a job done now and looking further down the line for players like them? And what are you wanting to see from them in future?
It's the only thing to me. The only thing I'm concerned about, and I know there were people who don't like the 24. I genuinely concur. Me and the staff are absolutely convinced that this is the best for us. So all I'm bothered about is just winning. Them players need to improve the performances. They need to be more consistent. Both them players, what you mentioned. There's certain things what I want to see from a winger. There's certain things I want to see from a back rower, and I've not seen enough of that. I want to see more. I want to see them stand out. I want to see that they look like England players when you're watching, and they do. They're both talented. I just want to see it more, and it's really simple for them.
And obviously, a World Cup next year has got to be just like an enormous cannon for them, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I know Herbie, and he will be obsessed about that, and he's obsessed about the messages I've had off Herbie and AJ and a lot of players about how important this Ashes series is. About us nailing this is really important. The carries for the younger players, what's coming through them, what's not been picked, that's their job to get in that squad for next year.
One last question from me. What does it do for the game in this country?
Oh, it would do everything. We went to the World Cup, and before the semi-final, people were saying it's the best any English team's ever played. We didn't turn up in the semi, and we got beat, and that was gutting for us all. But from that semi-final loss, the interest in rugby league went through the roof. Season tickets, that there was more interest in rugby league from that, and we didn't get to a final. So the chance of winning an Ashes in our country, in our grounds, in front of our fans, is something which is going to put these players in the history books forever, and they have to be a part of it. It's just so important for our game.
Just one from me. Talk about kind of the physical challenges of this series and how you've got to prepare for that. There's a few experienced mates in the squad and a few sort of really exciting young players that feel unlucky to miss out. How much is that about the mentality needed to maintain that level of a 4-week series?
Oh, yeah, it's really important. Like I said before, the mentality of an international player is very, very different. I've coached, I don't know how many international games I've coached, but 12 games or whatever it is. And it's a different level. This is a different game altogether. And Herbie will back me up on that. It's just so intense. The margin, there you go, the margin of error lowers. You just can't make errors, and not lots of players can do that. You know, get to that level of when your heart's pumping out your chest and you still have to go again and make an effort for your teammates. It's just a different level, and that's something like long term. What me, Paul Anderson, who's working with all our transition players, make sure that they understand. We need to get players who can play at this level. That's the most important thing.
Shaun, Owen Trout's made the call. Was that maybe named at the start of this season? You didn't envisage being on that squad list. How impressed have you been with his improvement?
Yeah, very impressed. Very, very good player. He's a talent. He's confrontational. He's got good leg speed. His effort areas are up there with any of the best front rowers. So I was so glad with him. My phone call with him was he was very happy to be in the squad, and he weren't expecting it, unbelievably. But yeah, he's a talent. He's a good lad around the team, and if I need to lean on him in any game, I know I can do that.
How close were some of his league teammates in making it? I'm thinking Robbie Mulverne might not have him in particular.
You were later. Yeah. He was. Robbie was good, and Jamal. I've had conversations with him, and yeah, there were lots of players in the looking. Yesterday was, and I don't say this lightly. Yesterday was a really tough, long day. Making a call to a player and delivering bad news is not easy for me. Some might think it is, but it's not. I do care for these players, and that phone call to Robbie was particularly tough because I do like him. But I'm their coach. I've made the decision, and it was really, really hard day.
And just lastly, can I ask you about Kevin Moulton's comments at London? You seen he's sort of already been stirring things up down under, like saying the article puts him onto the worst possible black over. What do you sort of make of that?
I know they booked the flights. I know that. So yeah, it just blows it out of the water. I don't know what he said. It's they booked their own flights. I've been reliably told by Andy. No, not by Andy. I've been told that. So, end of the day, business. The lad down to asleep. They'll be good when they get over here. But so will we.
Okay, so we'll move on. As if Shaun